What is up, New Beginnings Church? Happy Wednesday morning to you. Welcome to this devotional series we are wrapping this week called Lessons from Peter. We're past 1 Peter and 2 Peter. Now we're into these gospel stories, four of my favorite stories about the life of Peter. This has got to be one of the best right here. It's so good. Matthew 14. It says that Jesus had told the disciples, hey, get in the boat, go to the other side. I'll meet you over there. Right? Just get going. And so they get into a boat, they're rowing. Again, fishermen, a little superstitious. Maybe they saw a Loch Ness monster. I don't know. Fishermen can be superstitious about where they fish or what socks they're wearing, where they fish or whatever. So they're on the boat and they see somebody walking on the water. They freak out. Like, it's a ghost, right? And so everybody's scared, nervous. And of course, eventually they're like, Lord, this is what it says here in verse 27. They see Jesus. They all freak out. They're all afraid. They think it's a ghost. And so Jesus immediately says to them, take courage. Underline that word right there. Take courage. I am. Do not be afraid. So many good things to talk about here, but let's keep moving. So Peter's response is, well, Lord, if it is you, meaning I'm not too sure, you still could be a ghost. Lord, if it is you, tell me to come to you on the water. And Jesus says, well, come on then. I love it. Then Peter got out of the boat, walked on the water, and came toward Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid, and he began to sink and cried out, Lord, save me. Just a fascinating story. There were 12 disciples. Only one of them got to walk on water. And I think that's the big encouragement. When I read this story, I think, Peter, of all the disciples, was willing to stand out, was willing to be a little bit different. And part of what made him unique was his boldness and his courage. I love that. In the midst of fear, they're afraid. They think it's a ghost. They're dark on the water. I'd be freaking out too. And he's like, hey, take courage. It's me. Take courage. I am. And Peter's, all right. Well, if it's me, I want to come out and walk on the water thing. It sounds like a little kid that, again, wants to go do what their big brother wants to go do what their dad's doing. And they probably can't, but they really just want to. And so Jesus humors him and says, come on, I'm sure. In my mind, Jesus says this with a big smile on his face, like, all right, you can try. And I love it because for a moment, he walks on water. And so, again, big encouragement. Be courageous. Be bold. If you never step out of the boat, you never get to see if you can walk on water. And there are times in your life you just got to try. You got to risk. You got to take a chance. You got to step out in faith and see and believe that Jesus will catch you. Be aware of this. Fear is something that will speak to you and tell you, stop, no, don't, whatever you do, don't get out of that boat. And so think about it. When the Bible says fear not, which is the most repeated phrase in the entire 66 books of the Bible, fear not. It's not saying you're never going to feel fear. When it says fear not, it's saying don't live a life controlled by fear. Don't live a life that's influenced by fear. Don't make your decisions based off of fear. That's terrible. No, be bold, be confident, and believe that Jesus has the ability to save you. The idea that you're going to get rid of your fear is ridiculous. Courage is not like not feeling fear. Courage is saying, I'm going to feel the fear, but I'm going to trust God anyway and keep walking. That's what it means to say, I'm not going to let fear dictate my life, not going to let fear control me. And so what I'd like to do is kind of challenge yourself. Hey, what am I believing for? What am I praying for? Where do I need to be bold? And where do I need to be courageous? There's a great quote by, I think it's Mark Batterson, that says, God honors big prayers because big prayers honor God. I kind of think that's why Peter asked to come out, and Jesus probably had a smile on his face. He'd be like, wow, I'm impressed. This is amazing that you would even want to try, that you would even dare believe that I would be able to pull this thing off. And so I think about that quote, and I think, if my prayers are small, it's because maybe I'm imagining a small God who can only do small things. But when I pray big prayers and I take big steps of faith and I go with big boldness and courage in my life, it's in those moments I recognize I'm believing for big things because I believe my God is a big God who can handle it all. And so, church, I'd like you to kind of challenge yourself. Is there an area of your life where you're holding back because you're a little nervous, a little anxious, and a little afraid? And let's rebuke the fear. Let's not live our life based on that. Let's live our life based on the courage that says, wherever Jesus is going, I want to be wherever he is. Church, I love you so much. God bless you. I will see you tomorrow.